On March 28, 2025, at 12:50 p.m. local time, Myanmar was struck by a devastating 7.7 magnitude earthquake centered near Mandalay, the nation's second-largest city. This catastrophic event resulted in significant loss of life and widespread destruction across the region. Immediate impact. The earthquake's tremors were felt across Myanmar and in neighboring countries, including Thailand and southwestern China. In Myanmar, cities such as Mandalay and Sagaing experienced severe damage. Buildings collapsed, infrastructure was crippled, and essential services were disrupted. The Golden Country Hotel in Mandalay, for instance, was reduced to rubble, trapping numerous guests and staff inside. Rescue efforts were hampered by the lack of heavy machinery, forcing locals to dig through debris by hand in search of survivors. Human toll. The human cost of the earthquake was staggering. Reports indicated over 1,700 fatalities, with thousands more injured and at least 300 individuals reported missing. The disaster struck during Ramadan, leading to the collapse of mosques filled with worshippers during Friday prayers, resulting in approximately 700 deaths. The overwhelming number of casualties strained medical facilities, which were already compromised by the quake's damage. In the intense heat, bodies trapped under rubble began to decompose, leading to a pervasive smell of death in the affected areas. Infrastructure and economic damage. The earthquake inflicted severe damage on Myanmar's infrastructure. Hospitals, bridges, highways, and railways were extensively damaged, impeding rescue and relief operations. Mandalay's airport and Naypyida's control tower sustained significant damage, disrupting air traffic. The destruction of roads and communication networks isolated many communities, making it challenging to assess the full extent of the damage and deliver aid. Economically, the disaster further destabilized a nation already grappling with the impacts of ongoing civil conflict and previous natural calamities. International response. In the aftermath, international aid began to arrive. Neighboring countries such as China and India dispatched search and rescue teams, medical personnel, and essential supplies, including blankets and provisions. Despite these efforts, many areas reported shortages of food, water, and medical supplies, highlighting the immense scale of the disaster and the challenges in delivering timely aid. Compounding challenges. The earthquake's devastation was exacerbated by Myanmar's ongoing civil war. The conflict hindered rescue operations, with reports of military forces continuing attacks in opposition-controlled areas even after the disaster. The Government of National Unity declared a 2-week unilateral ceasefire to facilitate relief efforts, but the military junta's response remained unclear. The United Nations and other organizations reported that military actions obstructed humanitarian assistance, further complicating the crisis. Survivor stories. Amid the tragedy, stories of survival emerged. Mut Naung, a guest at the Golden Country Hotel, was trapped under debris for 5 hours before being rescued. Using her phone's light to stay calm, she survived, though her friends did not. Such accounts underscore both the randomness of survival and the resilience of those affected. Rescue operations continued in the days following the quake, with authorities and volunteers racing against time to find survivors amid the rubble. Aftershocks caused panic and further complicated relief efforts. The full extent of the disaster's impact remained uncertain, with officials warning that the death toll could rise as more areas became accessible and assessments continued. The 2025 Myanmar earthquake stands as a grim reminder of the unpredictable power of natural disasters and the profound impact they can have on nations, especially those already facing internal strife. The path to recovery will be long and arduous, requiring sustained international support and a concerted effort to rebuild not just infrastructure, but also the lives of those affected.